Hey garden friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Keisha with Country Garden Oasis, and this will be my very first vegetable garden tour. We've been working on this for months and we're super delighted, and it's been a lot of work, but it's well worth it. So there are a lot of things that have been completed, like all our beds, along with we've put in all our drip systems, which I'll go through with you. There's still a lot of work to be done, and I'll show you some of those along with the progress we're making on the greenhouse and the grape arbor behind me. But by the time we do the next tour, we'll have plenty to see. All right, let's get started. Before we begin the official tour, I wanted to share with you the design concept that I did. I literally did this on OneNote. I wasn't even using anything that's architectural or landscape design. This is what I came up with, and I built it out exactly like this. So let's get started. Just to give you some perspective, there are 16 metal raised beds throughout the garden. I wanted to use metal because I like wood, but over time wood breaks down. And with the pandemic, wood has gotten so expensive in order to buy cedar or even redwood. So I decided I'm gonna go with these metal beds. I've used them before. I used the 1-footers, and I realized that it was convenient, but at the same time, as you age, you want to make sure that you can garden at a level. So these are 2 foot high, so I don't really have to do much bending or anything. So as you can see all the way down there, there's this 2 planters with flowers. I incorporate flowers and everything. I'm trying to figure out where we're going to position those, but just to start, each front row bed has a flower in the front, because my whole thought process, by mid to end of season, this should be cascading over and it should be beautiful. So I'm doing pink and white along the way. So let's get started. There's a lot of work to be done. As you can see, the landscape fabric is down. I have drip tube, just ignore all of that. Over here, I have my pots. These pots I got in Costco, which are pretty cool. That's what I have on the tree stump planter in the front, if you remember that video, which I'll link it below. I'm gonna be putting all my berries in it, my blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries. I have about 8 of them, so I'm gonna position them here temporarily. I'm not sure where the final home will be, but for right now, this is where it will be. Let's start with bed number 1. I'll be labeling, I'm lying, it's not number 1. This is actually bed 12, if my label stayed up. So I have to finish labeling the bed. That's the first thing. So in each front bed, as I mentioned, we have a flower. So I have bubblegum, Super Tuna Vista bubblegum, and alternating with snowdrift. So we'll do pink and white. So this first bed, I am very excited about this bed. I have never grown callaloo, and I'll throw up a video of when I got them. I told my grandma that I wanted to grow these. So I got home one day and there was like this little box with these things that look pathetic. So I put them in a little pot, each one, and I said, let's see what happens. I've planted these now. This is probably their second week, because I haven't had a chance, because I've been working on trying to finish things up. So this is week 2 in the actual raised bed. And they're doing amazing. So this is Jamaican callaloo. If you notice, there's these little tassels. So these are a part of the amaranth family, and that's where our seeds are. So I'll have seeds for next year. Moving on to our next bed. And I also have some okra in here. I have like 3 okra plants in the back, because I'm doing a lot of companion planting. So we got a little okra already. This bed, this is my win or fail bed, but we're gonna see what happens. I started seeds of red roselle, which is also known as Jamaican sorrel. It's delicious. And I started it from inside the house and they germinated. It was amazing, the germination rate. I do, however, think I started it a bit too late. I started them sometime in April, almost May. But this one is doing tremendously well. Now that it's heating up and it's like really hot here in our zone 6B in Connecticut, it's showing signs of like, okay, I'm bursting out. These ones are still small because they need to mature before we get to fall. So this bed, because these are supposed to get really big, so I only planted that in this bed along with, oh, I have 4 trellises, arches in the entire garden, which I'll show. And on them, I'm doing watermelon in this one. And then if we move on to our next bed, we have mirror image of the watermelon because I have space constraints. And this is a good example of how you can plant vining crops that would ordinarily run all over the place in a small space, because this is relatively a small space, a 6x3 bed, and doing a trellis going up. And look at the watermelon. This is like a week and a half. This is fantastic since I took them out their little containers. I also have some bush beans here and corn. Now what's interesting with the corn, these were much smaller than these. And some of these aren't doing so well, but some of them are doing fantastic. Over here, I have some more okra. So I researched, aka Googled, companion planting, figured out what went together. It's not big science. And then I have some Brussels sprouts. But as you can see, you see those little holes? Those are the little budworms. So I've been treating it with BT, which I'll throw a picture up. I use it on my petunias too. It's really good for those caterpillar-like insects. Moving on to our next bed. So I messed up. I don't think these are all snowdrift. I think some of these are Supertunia Vista Mini White. Because I did some in the front, I may have messed up the containers, but we'll see. But they'll still cascade and grow beautifully. Okay, so this is my red ruby cabbage bed. And I've planted onions, as you could see, in between. I'm hoping they do well. I do have a few holes, so I'll treat that with BT. I've been treating it. Like, this is my second week. I'm going to be spraying them. As a matter of fact, I'm going to spray them today. So this is the red ruby perfection. And then over here, we have some Swiss chard. I need to plant, oh, I forgot. See, this is real life gardening. I put marigold in each bed. I forgot to plant it. I just put the plant on top of the soil. So it's barely getting any water. And look at my lettuce. Isn't that gorgeous? That's nice. And I have broccoli over here that's suffering. I know it already. See the holes in the leaves? I'm gonna try to find something. And I have cilantro, but it looks like it's bolting. But we'll see. This open spot right here, I'm gonna plant some carrots. And since we're here and this area is open, this is our drip. I'll throw up a video of when my husband, we dug trenches because this whole area there was nothing back here. I remember when I first did it on Instagram, one of my friends said, are you nuts? You're gonna build a garden there? But yeah, so we trenched because we're getting water for the covered patio. So our water will be coming from there. And the running joke in the family is there's no water out here. So we literally took water from the front of the house. I hooked up about 5 or so garden hoses to get the length. It's about 300 plus feet away. And then I'll show it to you guys in a minute, but let me show you. So we trenched, and so we had our pipes coming up, and then literally this thing is so cheap. I got it in Home Depot, the turnoff, for like $1 something. And then I did my 1/2-inch poly tube, and then I connected the drip tube. This is every 6-inch emitter, and I did 4 per bed. It's so easy once you have a way to get the water. And I wanted to keep the trenching inside the bed versus outside. And you'll see why, because like right now, the dirt, everything on the fabric is a mess because we haven't cleaned it up yet and put the stone in, but we will. So let me run over here and show you my little jerry-rigged temporary system. So the greenhouse is right here to give you some perspective, and we're painting the roof, well, the rafters, because we're gonna do a clear poly roof on there. It's attached to our covered patio that we're building. And so I'm excited. I need to go order the windows. So this is what we did. So our vegetable garden main line runs from here all the way over, and then we stubbed up. So we literally took a garden hose, did the same little cheap. So sometimes you don't have to get sophisticated because the water supply is not out here yet. And then we hooked 2 hoses, one so I could hand water and one that's connected to the drip system. So the supply hose coming from the house, that's hooked to the drip system, and then 1 free hose so that I can hand water. All right, let's keep going. Then over here, bush beans are everybody's friend. You can plant it with almost everything. So we have some tomatoes here. I think this is the Yellow Boy tomato. And I have like a little bush bean in here. Yes, here's the tag. I kept the tags. This one's called Yellow Boy. So I can remember what each of them are. And this one, I wasn't worried about putting it so close because it's supposed to be a little patio tomato that's not going to grow more than about 16 inches. And I bought this little trellis on Amazon. And I have these pole beans, literally. About a week ago, I planted them. And look, they're already trailing up on their own. Over here, we have the green zebra tomato. I'm excited about this. I've never planted this. This is what it's supposed to look like. I'm used to my red tomato, orange, yellows, but green zebra. Here we have cucumbers, and I'm going to give you some perspective. There's a lot of, maybe I'll do it from the other side. Just kind of, so the arch, so the cucumber is going to grow up on the arch. Same thing there with the watermelon. All right, let's talk about the next bed. So this one is my strawberry bed. Strawberries are perennials, so therefore they're gonna come back next year. And I've been picking them. So it's a mix of the Proven Winners, Berry Treasure Red, and some regular ones that I got at the store. And they're all kind of doing well. Look, you have strawberries hanging off here. So the whole concept why I wanted to do this is I wanted the strawberries to hang off, and I'll show you why in a second. I have onions in the bed. These are my Walla Walla onions. So I have Walla Walla and candy onions. It's very bright, so I apologize if there's lots of shadows. So the idea behind the strawberries there, I mirrored it on both sides. I wanted to do a seating area. And there's a video on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see the process. We did the patio. It's a circle pack. And what I loved about it, I didn't have to hire someone to do it. My husband and I did it. And the pack comes pretty much perfect. And you just have to assemble it, level your area, which we did. But as you could see, there's still lots of work to do. We're gonna clean, this week we're gonna clean out the bed, blow off all the dirt and debris from all the work we've been doing. And I'm gonna fill the bed with the stones. I'll do that. I'll show you in an update video when we do that. Okay. Then here, this is my pepper bed. These are all bell peppers, red, purple pepper. See, I did it again. I didn't plant the marigold, but because the drip is dripping, that's what's saving me. I gotta do that today. So we have Purple Beauty. This row is Purple Beauty, and here's a little Purple Beauty. Something weird is happening. You see how short these plants are? But I'm getting peppers on them, and I'm concerned that they're not gonna grow much more. And every other year, my plants are usually much bigger when I get peppers on them, but we'll see. It's the first time I'm planting in here. So that's the greenhouse. The whole thought process when we designed this was that I could be here in the greenhouse and step right out into the vegetable garden. So that structure that you see there, plus all the wood behind it, we had this massive tree. It had to be at least 60 feet high. And a limb broke, half the tree broke, and when it broke, it was rotten. It was so rotten inside, so we couldn't leave it. So we had a company come out and they cut the tree down and we kind of piled it up there. So this is the grape arbor. We're going to be putting up a white fence. So there'll be white fence behind all of this. And the grape arbor is going there. Yesterday we put in the posts. Those are 6x6 posts. We're going to cut them to the height that we want. I think I want it to be about 8 feet high because I want the grapes to grow over top and fall in about 7.5, 8 feet, so you could reach it. And I'm going to put 2 little wicker chairs in there so you could sit and enjoy it while I'm putting a fire pit here. You'll see that in my next video. Before I get to the rest of the garden beds, I want to show you something. So these are my 14 arborvitaes, the evergreens that I bought at Costco for $29. There's a big lesson learned here for me, because you see that black hose? That's the 1/2-inch poly. I haven't had the chance to add drip to every single one of them, so I've been hand watering. And honestly, they look pathetic. They look wilted and tired because when you water with the hose, it's running off. However, I did these 3. I hooked up the drip. You could see I never got any further. My drip, oh, this is so cool. I'll show you that in a minute. These 3 are on drip already. Look how lush and green they are compared to those. Like, womp womp. So this is my little, I'll do it in another video. This is how I keep my drip supplies organized. I saw it on Garden Answer. I follow Laura. She's an amazing gardener, home gardener. Just how to make things simple. That's one of the things I love about her. Even the drip system. I'll put a link to her channel. That's where I learned most of my stuff. Even my garden beds in the front. That's how I learned how to do a lot of things. Because I used to be a hand water gardener. Okay, so I finished the other side. Now this side is kind of a mirror image with a few little differences. So we'll go through this pretty quickly. So the first bed here is our lettuce and pepper bed, along with there's bell peppers, along with jalapeno peppers, and I have an eggplant in here. I think this one's, it's a classic eggplant. Look at those little peppers already. Woo, woohoo! And this one is a strawberry bed along with more onions. When I planted these onions, they look depressing. They still kind of look depressing, but they're popping up now. But these are the red onions. These are ruby red that I have planted in here. Our next bed is kale. I love kale. I like to add olive oil, salt, and pepper and throw it in the air fryer, and you get kale chips instantly. And this trellis has cucumbers as well. So I try to mirror both sides. I like things symmetrical a little bit. So, and this is sun sugar tomato. It's growing. My little cage. Look at this. We have a tomato already. I'm worried because they're so short. And we have ripe tomatoes already. That's interesting. Sweet. This is the other side where we have the corn. That was sweet. The corn over here is doing fantastic. I'm tempted to do succession planting where I have a pack of corn. I'm thinking I want to plant them right about now, so when these grow up, I could still have another crop of corn for the fall. And I have more tomatoes in here. This is kind of where I parked all the marigold. Watermelon. They kind of do it themselves, but I help them every now and again. Now this bed. This is the bed that looks empty, but this is the potato bed where I planted the white seed potatoes and my potato slips that I started inside. I'll link that video as well. Let's see how they do. Over here is a mirror image. I have more callaloo here, and then I have green cabbage here. But look at what's funny. These cabbage are doing like fantastic. They look well, they're growing. Look over here. This one's like womp womp. But look at the onions. The onions are doing well. I'm excited. And then the last bed here, we're not really going in any order. This is my pepper, hot pepper and basil. This is the amazing basil from Proven Winners. You should have seen this thing when I planted it a week and a half ago. It was tiny. Oh, there's a jalapeno. Look, already nice. I don't know what's going on. And this is my Scotch bonnet bed mostly. So I have so Ricardo's in the back there. He's about to work on he's doing the laser to figure out the right height where we got to cut it and make sure everything's level. So that's it for now, guys.